The Shure SM7B is a gourmet burger. The Elgato Wave 1 is in and out. You'll understand why by the end of this video. The Shure SM7B is a dynamic XLR mic costing $399, while the Elgato Wave 1 is a USB condenser mic coming in at $70, sometimes as low as $50 when on sale. I bought this one for $50 on sale a week or two ago. But these mics could not be more different. One is a dynamic, one is a condenser, one requires an XLR interface, and one connects via USB. One has a studio level price tag, and one is amazingly affordable. Despite the differences, these mics are used for more or less the same thing: content creation. Speaking of content creation, that's what I'm doing right now. Make sure you subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed this video. It helps out a great deal. But first, what are dynamic mics? What are condenser mics, and how are they different? As the SM7B is a dynamic mic and the Wave 1 is a condenser. Dynamic mics are relatively non-sensitive and great at rejecting background noise. This makes them ideal for their main use cases, which are broadcast, spoken word, and live performance. The one drawback of this low sensitivity is that they need a lot of amplification. This comes via gain from the audio interface they're connected to. And this non-sensitivity is a result of how they function, which is very different from condenser mics. To put it in extremely simplified terms, dynamic mics are passive. They only capture sound when sound waves vibrate the diaphragm, and the vibrations of the diaphragm are converted to voltage which a computer can read. On the other hand, condenser mics are active. They have an always-on diaphragm that's typically powered either via USB or 48-volt phantom power via an XLR interface. They also convert sound waves to voltage, but because they're always on, they're far more sensitive. In general, this sensitivity means that most condenser mics don't reject background noise very well, at least not as well as their dynamic counterparts. But this sensitivity is a strength in their ideal use case, which is studio recording, as you need sensitivity to capture everything accurately. That all said, no matter what type of mic you use, you'll want to place it relatively close to your mouth, about 6 inches away from the diaphragm. Adjust your settings so that you're not peeking into your microphone, and make some effort to reduce background noise in your space, whether that's turning off fans, closing windows, stuff like that. You can get away with more issues in your audio as a YouTuber or streamer, but if you're in radio or recording music, you need to have your sound on lock. But with that introductory knowledge, let's get to comparing. We'll start with this guy, the Shure SM7B, the king of broadcast. The Shure SM7B is frankly an inescapable microphone. If you have consumed any content, you have heard the Shure SM7B. It is everywhere. Chances are, most podcasters, streamers, and other creators use it, and it's for a good reason. It is an amazing microphone. That said, the intended use of the Shure SM7B is for professional grade studio broadcasting. This means it is frankly not for everyone. To get the most out of a Shure SM7B, you need a lot of amplification, which means you need really high quality audio equipment. You'll either need a superb XLR interface or a cloud lifter to help boost the gain of your Shure SM7B. It is a gain hungry beast. On top of that, because it is a very non-sensitive dynamic mic, you need to kind of kiss it. You need to have your mouth very close to the microphone. Otherwise, it won't sound great. Now we'll do a quick sound test without any filters like compression or EQ, which I've been using up to this point. Here's my camera's microphone as a palate cleanser. Now let's get to listening. Settings will be on the screen. Here I am, no effects, a few inches away from the Shure SM7B. Here I am, no effects, about a foot away from the Shure SM7B. Here I am, no effects, a few feet away from the Shure SM7B. I spoke a little bit louder each time just so you could hear it, but yeah, it's not great if you're not very close to the mic. Now I'm speaking to the front of the mic. I'm speaking into the side of the mic now. And now I'm speaking into the back of the Shure SM7B. This is just to show how directional this microphone is, and how much it rejects noise from the sides and back. Background noise test with a fan running. Here's a quick plosive test, directly speaking into the mic. Peter Piper picked a pickled pepper. Now from an indirect angle. Peter Piper picked a pickled pepper. And last, here's an instrument test with an ocarina. And now we're using compression and EQ again. I will say that for most people recording spoken word and even some music, the Shure SM7B may be one of the very best microphones, but that does come at a cost. The mic alone is about $400. A reasonable XLR interface will be about $99 at the cheapest. And a good XLR interface will probably be at least $150, if not $200 or $300, especially if you include a cloud lifter. A good mic arm will also cost you around $100. And sound treatment to have a studio quality space will cost you another few $100s, if not thousands. But to get the very most out of the Shure SM7B, your total mic setup could cost well over $1,000. Not to mention the very steep learning curve of learning to use XLR microphones and other audio equipment properly. A lot of people skip the part of learning how to use this equipment properly. So many creators make the Shure SM7B sound bad. And that's simply because they don't use it right, don't have a good XLR interface, or don't adjust their settings well. If I'm not using good mic technique like I am right now, the Shure's not gonna sound good. But that all said, the Shure SM7B has one of the highest quality ceilings out of any microphone, period. Compare this to the most economical microphone you can get, the Elgato Wave 1. We'll be using it to record the rest of this section. The Elgato Wave 1 is a USB condenser microphone, only costing $70 and as low as $50 when it's on sale. And this comes with the added bonus to access to Elgato's amazing software, Wavelink. It serves as an effects board and audio mixer for your entire audio setup for creativity. Bells and whistles aside, this microphone sounds really great. And I'd argue it may be the best quality per dollar you can get from a microphone right now. The Wave 1 is priced so low because Elgato keeps coming out with audio products. Products like the Wave 3, which is a direct upgrade to the Wave 1, just with more bells and whistles and slightly better hardware. The Wave XLR interface, or the recently released Wave DX dynamic mic. While all of these may be upgrades to the Wave 1 and more comparable to the Shure SM7B, I am picking the Wave 1 because it is the cheapest. As a condenser mic, it is a bit sensitive to background noise, but Wavelink allows for various plugins to alleviate this. Effects like noise gate and noise suppression. I'm actually using a noise gate right now, which is why you're probably not hearing any background noise while I'm using this. But you can get just about any audio plugin for the Wave 1 mic because Wavelink has VST support, and VSTs are a common type of audio plugin. And these plugins can be used as post-processing or as filters even in OBS, so you don't need Wavelink for these effects, but it is a lot nicer to have them earlier in your audio pipeline. But how does it sound? You've been listening with a noise gate and EQ, but now it's time for the raw audio. Here's a quick palette cleanser with my camera's microphone, and we'll have the settings that I'm using for the Wave 1 on screen. Here I am, no effects, a few inches away from the microphone. Here I am, no effects, about a foot away from the microphone. Here I am, no effects, a few feet away from the Wave 1. Now we'll go from the front to the side, and now to the back of the Wave 1. Now we'll go from the back of the Wave 1 to the side of the Wave 1, and all the way to the front. Now a quick plosive test from the front first. Peter Piper picked a pickled pepper, and then with a mic slightly offset. Peter Piper picked a pickled pepper. Here's a background noise test with a fan running. And here's a quick instrument test with an ocarina. And now we've reapplied noise gate and EQ. The Wave 1 is a fantastic microphone. It is absolutely absurd you can get it for as cheap as $50, at least when it's on sale. It might not be fair to compare it to the Shure SM7B, but think about it. This $70 microphone is good enough to compare to a $400 microphone that might even need an $800 plus audio setup. And the last thing, we'll do some quick back and forth between the two mics. This is a vocal warm-up I like to do before recording videos. 1 hen, 2 ducks, 3 squawking geese. 1 hen, 2 ducks, 3 squawking geese. 4 limerick oysters, 5 corpulent porpoises. 4 limerick oysters, 5 corpulent porpoises. 6 pair of Donald versus Tweezers, 7,000 warriors in full battle array. 6 pair of Donald versus Tweezers, 7,000 warriors in full battle array. 8 brass monkeys from the ancient sacred crypts of Egypt. 9 sympathetic, apathetic, diabetic old men on roller skates with a defined propensity of procrastination and sloth. 10 spherical, lyrical, diabolical denizens of the deep, all host around the quo and key of the quay all at the same time. 8 brass monkeys from the ancient sacred crypts of Egypt. 9 sympathetic, apathetic, diabetic old men on roller skates with a defined propensity towards procrastination and sloth. 10 spherical, lyrical, diabolical denizens of the deep, who all host around the quo and key of the quay all at the same time. But what's the verdict? Which microphone is for you? Obviously, the Shure SM7B is a better, higher fidelity microphone. Provided you use it right, it is better suited for a creator use case. I've seen so many creators like Rubber Ross upgrade from a Wave microphone to the Shure SM7B. But is the Shure SM7B $350 to $500 better than a Wave 1? If you're a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer, chances are you don't need the highest fidelity sound. You don't need the perfect studio quality, and you certainly don't need the most expensive audio setup. Unless you're an audiophile with the cash to burn or have a very legitimate need for the Shure SM7B, it is frankly overkill for most people. Moreover, if you're just getting started, you especially don't need the Shure SM7B. You can start a podcast with the Wave 1 and it'll probably sound perfectly fine, if not really good. Heck, you could even use the voice memo feature on your smartphone to get started. Improving your gear does not improve your ideas. For the vast majority of creators, you literally just need the camera on your phone to get started. Maybe a capture card if you're a gamer, but otherwise, especially in the early stages, it is very misguided to focus on gear. So many people focus on specs and premium price when starting out their creative journeys when you really should be focusing on developing and improving your ideas. Unless you're like a musician, professional photographer, artist, or high production podcaster, basically something where the fidelity of your gear is a feature of your content, improving your gear will not improve your content. And even for these people where fidelity is extremely important, a bad song recorded in a studio is still a bad song. And a well-composed photo can be taken with a smartphone. Honestly, only focus on gear upgrades if you are obsessed and have cash to burn. That's when I've made most of my gear upgrades and why I have a Shure SM7B. Or upgrade your gear if you're building enough traction with your content to warrant an upgrade. Or have a very specific purpose in mind for why you're upgrading your gear in the first place. We'll do the rest on the Wave. This is all to say that for the price, the Wave 1 is outrageously good. You might want a Shure SM7B, and with proper form, you will sound better with one. But the Wave 1 gets you so far above the floor of acceptable quality that you may never even need to upgrade, depending on your use case. Unless your content is below like a 6 out of 10 in terms of mechanical quality, that being like mic and video, the average Twitch or YouTube viewer will probably be completely fine. As long as they can hear you clearly and see what you're doing, it's fine. And on that note, the Wave 1 is easily an 8.5 out of 10 on that quality benchmark, with the Shure SM7B having the potential to be a 10 out of 10. Though with improper use, a lot of people make it sound like an 8 out of 10 microphone. But the point is, if you're above a certain quality floor, quality really doesn't matter to most viewers. Your ideas, the execution of those ideas, and the community that you build, that's what matters to your viewers. The Shure SM7B is a better microphone, and if you really want it and can afford it, it is worth the price. But the Wave 1 is just so affordable with such high quality. For my Californians, the Shure SM7B is like a gourmet burger that costs like $25 or $30. It may be the best thing you'll ever eat, but it'll cost you a lot of money. On the other hand, the Wave 1 is like a $3 In-N-Out burger. Yes, the gourmet burger is a lot better, but In-N-Out burgers are still really good. And the quality per dollar economics on the In-N-Out burger are out of this world. The Wave 1 is some of the best quality per dollar on any microphone, period. And for most of you, it's a lot more than enough. Now do you get the analogy from the very beginning of the video? Okay, back to the Shure. If you're struggling with impulse purchases of gear that you want but don't necessarily need, I have a video for you. It goes through the lens of purchasing a new ocarina, but this workflow can apply to any major purchase, especially when it comes to gear upgrades you might be considering. You'll probably find out that what you want isn't necessarily what you need. Thanks for watching. Leave a like on this video, subscribe for more, watch that video next, and I'll see you next time. Happy creating.